Good morning, students. Our today's topic to learn is materials management. So, what is materials management? We have learned that in the second unit. Scope we have learned, importance we have learned. In this chapter, we are going to learn about the 5 M's of materials management. The first is the men, or we can say the manpower. Second is materials. Third is machines. Fourth, methods. And fifth is money. If we are talking about money, money is an all-purpose resource. A business needs capital to manufacture products or provide services. It is required for procuring raw materials, hiring staff, buying machines, and the several other expenses that a business incurs. Availability of funds ensures smooth functioning of a business. A business requires adequate working and the fixed capital. Having adequate capital can hamper the functioning of a business or in some worst cases shut it down completely. Having enough money ensures that you can hire the best people, the finest quality raw materials, and well-functioning machines. This in turn will ensure that your end product or service meets the quality standards and offers value for money. Several people quit their jobs when they are paid inadequately. Factories lose their orders if the machinery they have is outdated compared to its competitors. Lack of quality raw materials can cause a reduction in sales. For any startup, it usually takes around 2 to 3 years to start making money. It is very essential that a startup has enough capital to cover all the expenses for at least 2 years. So we can say money is the most critical and all-purpose resource because it is used to acquire or hire other resources. In organization, money is employed to generate more money in the form of profits or surplus. A business firm or enterprise requires money in the form of fixed capital and working capital. Next is manpower. Be it modern day corporate, high-rise or an ancient monument like the Taj Mahal, neither would be complete without the aid of manpower. To make the raw materials into a structure, an effective team of workers is needed. Similarly, an organization can have the best of raw materials, but without any manpower, those fancy materials are useless. So manpower refers to the managerial and non-managerial personnel employed in an organization. Other resources cannot act by themselves and have to be utilized by human beings. Therefore, human resources mobilize, allocate, and utilize the physical and financial resources of an organization. Management is often referred to as the art of getting things done by people. Manpower is a vital component of any organization as no other resource can function without it. Managerial and non-managerial people who are part of the organization fall under this category. Having a qualified and competent workforce drives the success of any organization. But a manager has to ensure that his team is functioning smoothly by resolving the conflicts promptly. Fair remuneration, work-life balance, sustainable working environment, and adequate resources helps in gaining an employee's loyalty in the long run. Then we come to the top of materials. The materials are those products which are utilized for creating the final product. Materials can be raw or even semi-finished products that are used for making the end product that the company sells. In cotton mills, cotton is considered as raw materials. Yarn or cloth sheets derived from these factories are then sent to the clothing factories. These sheets of cotton are viewed as raw materials in the clothing factory. The cotton is sewed, tailored and altered to make a desirable outfit. A final product for one factory can be the raw material for the other. Raw materials are the primary building blocks of any production process. The management has to ensure that the quality and quantity is enough to meet the demand. They also have to note the transportation and conversion expenses of these materials. Quality and inventory checks determine if the company has an adequate amount and desired quality of raw materials. The raw materials can be direct or indirect. Direct raw materials are the ones that are a part of finished product, while the indirect raw materials are those who were a part of the process but do not directly included in the final product. For example, the steel used for manufacturing kitchen units is an example of direct raw material, while the oil used in machines from which the steel cabinets are made is considered as indirect material. To sum up with, materials represent the physical raw materials and intermediate products or the semi-finished goods which are converted or assembled into finished products with the help of certain processes and technology. Next is machines. Machines are used for converting raw material into finished goods. There can be several machines involved in the production process depending on the products the company is selling. Purchasing modern machines help in improving the process of manufacturing. The upcoming technology in machines play a key role in production. Having well-functioning machine leads to quick production and may offer a competitive advantage over others. Machines are the equipment that are used to process the materials into finished or semi-finished products. Employment of modern machinery helps to reduce cost and to improve the quality of output. Technology has therefore become an important ingredient in the efficient management of organizations. Next is methods. Methods refer to the normal and prescribed ways of doing things. Various operations are performed according to certain systems and procedures. Use of right methods helps to increase efficiency of operations and contributes to effective management. The method being a way of getting things done definitely revolve around management. Method is all about the time efficiency. There are several methods a manager can use to get the same things done. Getting from point A to point B may have 10 different routes. It is a challenge here for a manager to choose the best one. The best method usually is the one that is cost efficient while meeting the quality standards. Also, different methods require different time for the completion of the same tasks. Two managers can be given the same raw materials, machines, staff and budget, but still the result produced might be different. This is because every manager has his own way of getting things done. For the smooth functioning of your business, you need to ensure that the business resources are hired or bought across all the 5 M's of management. These 5 M's of management are interlinked and dependent on each other. In order to make a business successful, all the 5 components are needed to be utilized to their maximum potential. That's what the manager does. Management does have its set of theories that back up as a science, but still the execution varies from person to person, which makes it an art as well. To ensure that the factors of production above are well curated and established management systems are set in place. These management systems monitor the entire process and conduct evaluations accordingly. Now, while purchasing the materials, there are two methods. First is centralized purchasing and the other is decentralized purchasing. So what basically centralized purchasing is? In a centralized purchasing system, all purchases are managed and handled by a single team, department or branch. This means that any employee or team purchase must be submitted, reviewed and approved through a single purchasing window. Let's take an example for centralized purchasing process. That could be a case where a team requires a new software system or application to manage their deliverables. The team submits the request to an internal purchasing system. A designated reviewer receives and approaches the purchase request. The approved request is then delegated to a member of purchasing team for completion. Here in this example, a centralized purchasing process relies on the gatekeeper who approves and manages the purchases. This gatekeeper usually someone in a management route has visibility and control of all purchasing requests and transactions. Now, after learning about centralized purchasing, what would be decentralized one? A decentralized purchasing system is a model in which purchases are made and managed by various specialized teams, departments, or branches. This means that teams or employees refer to a variety of department or teams depending on the needs for purchase request rather than a single department. If we talk about the example for decentralized purchasing, decision making with this model is divided so purchase requests are received and managed by various departments. As a result, purchasing authority is distributed to more than one person. An example of decentralized purchasing would be a purchase request for equipment or software that impacts more than one team, such as new HR application that needs approval from both HR and IT. Another example would be a company in which each department has final approval over an internal purchase request. After learning about the meaning with the help of examples, we are able to understand the difference between centralized versus decentralized purchasing. Here are some points. If we talk about centralized purchasing, there are aggregate purchasing volumes, whereas in decentralized, greater facility autonomy is there. In centralized purchasing, transportation economies of scale are present, whereas in decentralized, speed and consumer responsiveness is taken into consideration, with personal more expense of the organization. In centralized, there is increased buyer specialization, whereas in decentralization, effective use of local resources are taken. In centralized purchasing, increased purchasing coordination and control is required, whereas in decentralization, closer link between facility inventory requirements and purchasing capabilities are taken into consideration. While talking about centralized purchasing, there are reduced duplication of effort, but in decentralizing, it is not. There is increased local ownership. In centralized purchasing, increased synchronization of purchasing strategies and executions are present, whereas in decentralized, direct linkage of purchasing with local requirements are there. Centralized improves purchasing research, whereas decentralized direct support for local new product development. In centralized purchasing, efficient utilization of MRP is there. In decentralized, utilization of order points and DRP logics are there. In centralized purchasing, better change management is there, but in decentralizing, local focus on change management is there. To understand about centralization in a crux form, it is a process by which the planning and decision making for an organization are carried out in a single place or originate from a single leader. The head office is able to exercise power to make decisions and to give instructions to the other offices in the business. All decision makers and upper authorities are a part of the headquarters. This method allows the higher levels of the organization to manage teams at the lower levels and ensure that they are aligned with the company's objectives. This approach reduces the necessity of formal protocols as managers can directly supervise the behavior of their employees, which eliminates the need for frequent reporting and formal processes. If we talk about the merits, there is a clear chain of command who has to report to whom, vision with focus, cost reduced, rapid implementation of the decisions, improved work quality, coordination of activities, increased efficiency, and relationship with customers are nice. Everything has the two sides of a coin, so is the case with centralization. That is, there are merits, there are demerits also. First is leadership of the bureaucratic type. Then remote control, that means all the other departments or the subsidiaries have to work as per the decisions taken by the authorities. Delays in work because the decision taken by the headquarters need to encompass from various departments, and loyalty of the customers and the employees are lacking. Then what is decentralization? It refers to a specific form of organizational structure where the top management delegates decision-making responsibilities and daily operations to middle and lower subordinates. The top management can thus concentrate on taking major decisions with greater time abundance. The merits of using decentralized process for purchasing of materials are motivation of subordinates because they think they have got the authority to take the decisions regarding the raw materials, which clearly provides them a sense of belongingness to the organization. Then growth and diversification. If the tasks are delegated amongst the various workers, then that gives the chance to the top management to take more concentration on the other strategies of the organization, which would help them to create growth and diversification in the organization. Then quick decision making, as everything need not to be taken due permission from the top management, which needs a scalar chain of demand, scalar chain of taking decisions. So there would be a proper authority for taking that particular decision. So the decision making time would be short. Then is efficient communication. The authorities will be given to the experts, so there would be efficient communication that can take place in decentralized purchasing process. Ease of expansion is there, better supervision and control is there, satisfaction amongst the employees and the workers are there, and relief to the top executives. With this, we have demerits also, that is difficult to coordinate amongst the workers. External factors can influence the authorities. Narrow product lines, that means the companies who are working with short product lines, it is difficult for them to use decentralized purchasing process, and as it is very expensive. Further moving to hybrid purchasing, let's understand the suitability of centralized as well as decentralized purchasing. Centralized purchasing can be opted for the places where high degree of oversight and control are required, greater data transparency is required, purchasing in high volumes to benefit for discounts are required. That means they can purchase in bulk quantities so that maximum discounts can be reaped out from the suppliers. Streamlining spend management and purchasing history. Centralizing contracts and invoices are there. Reducing maverick spending or cost leakage. Standardizing processes are required, and greater leverage to negotiate with suppliers are required. When one person is talking to the supplier with bulk quantity purchase, then it creates a positive sign from the point of view of the company. Now, if we have talked about centralized purchasing suitability, then where does decentralized purchasing can be done? It can be opted where high degree of agility is required, faster, immediate and long-term purchasing decisions are there, specialized supplier knowledge and local compliance requirements are there, managing a high volume of purchase requests are present, greater supplier diversity, shorter delivery times, more use of local suppliers and discounts, greater purchasing autonomy, and less process bureaucracy. Now we are moving towards, because the point is total centralized purchasing is not good and total decentralized purchasing is also not good. So what to do? There comes the existence of hybrid purchasing, that is a mixture of centralized as well as decentralized purchasing. If neither of these two options seems like to be perfect fit, consider combining the benefits of centralized and decentralized purchasing to create a hybrid purchasing model. This model is also known as a center-led or coordinated model. That is a coordination between centralized and decentralized purchasing. This more coordinated and customized alternative can be used to maximize the benefits of purchase process, standardization, data centralization, supplier delivery, supplier diversity, increased supplier knowledge, higher purchasing autonomy, risk mitigation, and faster delivery times. With this model, it is also easier for procurement managers to better align the purchasing process, sourcing strategies, and departmental needs with overarching business priorities. This type of model promises procurement a balance of scale and adaptability. Hybrid procurement operating structures, which combine a central procurement base with distributed teams of buyers, are designed to strike a balance between global and local governance. Scale and adaptability combined. Hybrid operating models promise balance and agility, where centralized and decentralized models offer zero-sum trade-offs. Hybrid procurement combines nimble, decentralized purchasing with centralized compliance and oversight in a way that optimizes for value and efficiency in transactions. To sum up with this chapter, I would like to recall all the topics in a very crux manner. In any production and operation process, there are 5 factors which have been very crucial, like manpower, materials, method, machine, and money. No production can happen without the use of all these. Any one is missing, then the production gets halted. In materials management, there are 2 approaches of purchasing, that is the centralization and the decentralization process. In centralization, everything comes from top, but in decentralization, individual units are delegated sufficient authority to accomplish their own task. Both approaches have their advantages and disadvantages, which must be evaluated before taking decision to centralize or decentralize. To cope up with the demerits of these two methods, there is a hybrid approach, which is a judicious mix of these two approaches. Thank you for today.